Hey, it's Tasha Burnett. I'm here with the College and Career Advising Foundation, and we have some guests today, some first generation college students that are going to just give us some insight on their experience so that we can understand some of the challenges that we face as first generation college students and some of the things that help us to be successful. So we have Alondra, Francisco, Alex, and Andy helping us today with this conversation. So I'm going to jump right into it. So research kind of suggests that there are some factors that contribute to first generation success. One of those factors is academic readiness. Can you guys or any one of y'all chime in and tell me how you think academic readiness helped you or maybe hurt you as you are preparing, or are you preparing for your degree or in college?
Um, I would say one of the
Well,
things
tell
that
them
really,
who you are and tell them like, what year you in.
oh, okay. I'm Alondra Gonzalez Morales. I'm from Rhodes College and I'm a sophomore. I am a bio major with a concentration in biomedical sciences with a minor in Spanish. Something that helped me, um, or in the specific realm of college readiness was um, the whole study habit thing, because when you get into college, it's a big transition from high school classes to college classes. Um, and just from talking to some of the freshmen that entered Rhodes, they're struggling a lot with that transition from how to study from high school classes to college classes because it's not the same. And I feel like if you don't have like a good grasp on what college is gonna be like collegiate, they freaking showered us with homework, so we were kind of used to like the fast pace. But a lot of college students who aren't used to that are very what's it called? Are very set back by that.
Okay, like shell shock. They don't know how to kind of,
Yeah.
okay. So with that, in that vein, academic, so y'all can tell me if you had this experience. Me being a first generation college student, I had to deal with advisors who when they went to advise me for classes, they assumed because I was Black and I was going to a predominantly white institution that I came from like a school that, my reading was down. Like I remember an advisor telling me, well, I'm sure you have trouble with reading. Like they made assumptions based off of my because I was a Black girl, right? Do you all have to experience trying to fight against, or even with your advisors trying to get them to put you in courses that you're ready for?
I think, hello, my name is Francisco Avisay Bernalac. I'm a sophomore at Christian Brothers University. I'm studying electrical engineering, and I've had a very tough time. But with what Ms. Burnett was saying is that so an advisor really helps you out to make sure you pass your classes in 4 years or 5 years if you plan it, because if not, you're gonna have to end up paying more. Personally, with my advisors, I need to speak with my advisors bi-weekly and make sure. I think it's important to talk to them as um, early as possible during the semester and even before your semester to see what classes you want to take. But me at Christian Brothers University, I didn't have something so strong like someone would that my advisors say, yeah, so you would have to take these classes. They really were very personal with me and told me to make sure to take classes that I feel that I will pass in order to not have to take the course and take the course again. So um, for me, I say like make sure to talk to your advisors as because they want to help you. They want to help you. And although it seems like they're a parent at times, what they know your grades most of the time. So be as transparent as possible because y'all are a group and you want to pass in 4 years or 5 years if that's your plan.
Okay. So one of the things that I will just stress to people is to make sure they know what their course catalogs say, know the courses you're supposed to take, so that when you're meeting with your advisor, it's not like they're telling you things you don't know, they're just kind of advising you. One of the other things that research is for first generation college students to be successful is for them to have high school involvement. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all think those scholars or students who don't that are not involved in high school and go to college, do you think they'll have a harder time with the transition, especially as first generation college students?
Um, I do. My name is Andres Arreola. I went, my first year of college was spent at the University of Memphis, and then I came to a trade school in Mortec, Memphis, Tennessee. I'd say that involvement in high school really does affect how you connect with both teachers and other students and on campus, you know, in general, because I mean, I'm gonna be honest, in the beginning of college, I did struggle. I was just sticking to the same friends that I had in high school. I didn't really want to expand. I had no reason to. But as you progress through school and as you progress through, like, you know, you're gonna need more resources, whether, like I said, it be teachers or more students or just faculty in general. You need to know how to talk and how to relate and just how to have a regular relationship, even if it's just like to talk to your advisor, right?
Yeah.
So I personally do think that involvement in high school is very helpful, and it just aids students in being able to communicate what their needs are and what they and, like, you know, get help.
Anybody have anything to add? It does help you to learn how to advocate for yourself and to
Mhm.
how to build relationships. Anybody else have anything to add with that?
Hi, my name is Alex. I go to Christian Brothers. I'm a junior biology major. And I agree with Andy. I do think that high school involvement um, is important. I feel like some of it comes in, like, and your interest in high school can sort of lead you or push you in a direction in college. So if you're like interested in environmental science or theater or anything like that, and you get involved in high school, you'll already kind of sort of know your group or what you're interested in college, because it can be the it's an eye-opening time. So like you'll probably know more about yourself and sort of gravitate toward that in college.
Right.
Yeah.
Another one of the things that research suggests, and I guess y'all can see I'm trying to prove or disprove research. It says that minority students are successful when they have minority support on campus. So I guess it's twofold. Do your campus have programs and organizations just for your minority? And do you agree that having that support from a group of people, it's the same culture, you help you with your college success?
I guess I can talk about this. Rhodes is a PWI. A lot of the people, well, it's gonna be a funny story. Sorry, not a funny story because it's not really funny. But we have a Latinx student association on campus, and it's like 5 years old. Like all the other organizations are like 25, 15, 50 years old, and our organization is 5 years old. And one of the guys who just graduated, his name is Dorian. He's like well known around um, Rhodes for being like a very exemplar Latinx student. But he told us stories about how his freshman year at Rhodes, he didn't see anyone like himself, or he didn't really have a place to talk about how he felt about his own culture, about how he felt being around people who didn't speak the language that he spoke, who didn't come from the same background as he did. And so when I went on campus, the organization had already been established, but I believe it was his freshman year was when the organization started. And I think it messes with you mentally if you don't have that support from people who are like you. For me personally, I entered LSA right away in like the fall of my freshman year. And I've just gotten to connect with a lot of the people from that organization, and I'm the secretary now this year. And then also we just added a Latina sorority. Having that on campus also like helps with professionalism because LSA is more of like you come there, you like hang out. It's more of a chill area, like space. But this new sorority also serves like as a space for Latin women to come and get guidance and help with their professional careers.
Yeah, I know when I was in school, we had a Black student union, and it was like, I can't imagine not having that on campus for me to connect and feel connected to the community. Is any of you all at any schools where you don't have that, and do you feel the need to have it at the school?
So I really have two stories to tell in that case. You know, like I said, I'm going to more tech. I used to go to U of M. Um, comes to University of Memphis, I love the school because of the diversity that it has, and it was really helpful for me to know that not just a Latino community, but just a community that's just not white in general. It was just comforting to see that around campus and just seeing all these different like people just communicating all at once. More tech is a different story because it's a tech school. I go to night school, so it's dads, basically parents, going to school, going home as soon as they get there, getting whatever they have to do, get it done.
Right.
And it in that sense, I don't think it's necessary for me to have that support simply because I'm trying to do the same thing. I'm just trying to get an income somehow out of that trade school. And I mean, it'd be helpful, and I know for a fact that in the morning classes, there's more young people, and there are some. It's not programs for like specific, ethnicities and stuff like that, but there is more diversity in the sense that it's more kids just trying to learn at that straight school. It's not something that like completely just sets me off, but it would be nice to at least be able to communicate with somebody that's more like me, but it's not something that affects me that much.
Okay, let's move on to a topic that is probably, to me, one of the most important topics to talking about first generation, which is finances and paying for college. And the reality is, most of us come from, if it's not a low income house, we came from middle class families. And the reason why we're probably first generation is because either our parents didn't have the opportunity to go to college, or we're not in a culture where we have privileged and have, history of our families having wealth. So somebody tell me, what are your struggles financially, and how are you handling it? How are you being able to pay for college, I guess is the question.
Um, so at Christian Brothers University, it's very the tuition compared to the other universities here in Memphis is pretty high, and so personally, I have a lot of financial aid, and most of it is covered by aid from the state. The school also, Christian Brothers University, gives a lot of scholarships just for once you apply, and if they see that you have good grades, or if they see that you're determined. And so there's a lot of scholarships available. But other than that, I work with my dad. He has a painting company, and so I'll get classes during the morning, or and try to finish by midday. And then in the afternoon, I'll go to the work site and work. But at first, many colleges will give you a lot of money. I feel like they want to, grab you
Lure you in. Yeah.
and not let you go so you can stay in debt. So, but on the other hand, they also want to help you. So all the scholarships you get at the beginning, your first freshman year, most of the time they'll stay there if your academics stay there. So me, this is my second year at Christian Brothers University. My first year didn't go as planned, and so my GPA was not as good as I wanted to, and I lost scholarships for this year. and so that now I have to pay out of pocket. And so now I put more value into my classes. I put more value into the time I have to put studying. Like Alondra stated before, studying is about 99.9% of what a college student does. The other 1% is just going to class and being there. But it's really, I feel like it depends on the parents also, because if your parents have had a good opportunity or they have a stable job, it's going to allow you to be more concentrated on your studies instead of having to work.
So I think you made two good points. You talked about how you have to first work to kind of supplement. And the reality is a lot of first generation, not all of them, but a lot of them do have to work and go to school and make that balance. So they have to have time management skills. Then you talked about the fact that if you do not, you get these scholarships and merit scholarships, but they have some criteria to them. Like you have to keep your GPA up in order to keep those scholarships. You mentioned something about debt. Tell me about that. What do you mean? Well, about they lure you in. What do you mean by that?
So is this question still towards me or
Anybody?
anyone
Like, because
else?
when you said that, a couple people shook their head. Like, yeah, they try to lure you in. What does that mean?
Well, not personally, but I know that for many colleges, like the first year tuition isn't the same as the next year's tuition. It just increases every time. And a lot of the scholarships you get are only for 1 year. And most of the time, they don't really advertise that. They just say, oh, look, I got you 2 grand. But then they don't really tell you, like, oh, this 2 grand is only going to stay there 1 year. And then next year, you have to like figure out how to pay for that. Um, and I guess that just comes into like you doing your own research. And that's a lot of like something you're going to have to learn to do because people aren't going to tell you, like, hey, this is only for 1 year. So next year you have to find your own um, way of paying this. And, but like if you know that this scholarship only lasts a year, then you can plan ahead and then apply for other scholarships for next year. Because there's always scholarships around for people who are already in college.
Exactly. I'm glad you said that. That's a great point for people to know. You have to do your research and be diligent and know how you're going to pay for your college for the entirety of the time. You were going to say something, Andy?
I was just gonna say that our first year was honestly, well, my first year was kind of weird considering the fact that everybody went under quarantine, which is what messed me up in college partially. Is that the right word?
COVID hit everyone.
Yeah, but no, COVID did mess me up in the sense that I just, focusing at home was not the same as focusing in class.
Mm-hmm.
And that just, it made me stumble a little. And it did, like I said, like, a lot of other students last year, it made them lose a couple scholarships. I lost a couple or just one, but I just decided, that mixed with the idea that just college just was not something that was for me. It just kind of all came together and just helped me understand that the need for scholarships is there, but some students are going to have to work to stay in college. And that if I stayed in college, that's what I would have had to do. And that would, me struggle with my time management skills personally. It would not have worked for me that well. And, it's a lot of sacrifice that you got to do if you do want to stay in an actual college. There's sacrifices you got to do with friends, with work, with just what you're focusing on. And if you want to get through it, you can do it. But like I said, it takes sacrifice.
Okay, thank you so much. I think that is very great information. I don't want to overwhelm the people with information on today. Just before we end though, because we're going to do another part to this later. Do anybody have any suggestions or any comments they just want to make to those young adults, those high school seniors or juniors that's getting ready, that may be wondering how to do this? Nobody in their family did it. Do you have any suggestions, even if they may be undocumented, anything, any situation where you may have some suggestions?
I would say focus on private scholarships. All of my scholarships were privately funded. Like I don't pay for school. In fact, I get paid. I go and get refund checks. So
Oh,
if you think like I applied for the Burger King scholarship and I got it, like just apply to anything. Like anything will help out in the future. And even if like that scholarship that you get, like I got one from Comcast and they only gave it was like a it was a lot of money, but I didn't need it all, so they only gave me part of it the last year, and now they're giving me more of it this year. So even if you don't think you're gonna need them, like
mhm.
apply for scholarships because you're still gonna have to pay for food, you're gonna have to pay for your own necessities, you're gonna have to pay for, and if you're living on
Yes.
campus, rent, phone bill, whatever it is, like
Mhm.
you're gonna need that money. So just apply to any scholarships that you see. I
All right. Bye-bye, Alondra.
gotta go.
Anybody
Bye, guys.
any
Bye.
suggestions? No other suggestions? Y'all ain't got no suggestions.
Okay. I mean, I got a lot.
I mean, not all of them. Just give one tip if you could to and if I can say, Andy, I don't know if you would agree, but in your situation, I think it's important for people to look at their situation and evaluate what their goal should be for
What I
their
was gonna
career
say.
and higher education.
Exactly. Because this is the advice that kind of comes in 2 points, but I can sum it up in one. When it does come to college or school in general, higher education, like Ms. Burnett just said, it's important to evaluate all your options because college is not the only one.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that college is a bad option or that, you're wasting money. That just depends on where you want to put your money in and what type of education you want to receive. But there's always trade school, for example, it's not a bad option. People see it as just, a last option, a last resource, and it really is. And I have a bunch of other resources that I decided not to go to. The reason I wanted to do trade school is because personally, all of the degrees that were offered at U of M were just office jobs, and I didn't want to put myself in that, right? Doing something with trade school where you're active, where you can build a business, where you can just, do big things without having to, you know, stress myself out with college like I was in first semester or something like that. It was helpful to know, it was relieving to know that not only would I be supported by my family, but by the school itself by choosing something else, but it was just like, it helps you to be able to know that you have other options, that there's not one path to everywhere you go.
Right. What about you, Francisco and Alex? One suggestion.
Um, Andy talked about. Andy has a great point. There's a lot of options, and I feel like you should actually come up with a plan to seek out various universities and see how many scholarships you get from each. And you should always have a plan. So plan A, plan B, plan C, because plan A might not work all the time. Um, but on another note, I think a great tip to do is to once you're already in the school that you want to go to, and so you're in class, I'd say make sure to have a friend or two in each class, because what happens a lot of the times is sometimes you can't make it to class, or sometimes you're confused in the class, and the professor, although he is willing to help, most of the time they're willing to help, and at Christian Brothers they're always willing to help, but the time is not there for everyone. And so make sure to grab a friend or two and communicate with them. Hey, I can't make it today, can you pass me the notes? Hey, do you want to grab some coffee and have a study session? I'd say make sure that in every class period you have someone you can talk to about how class is going, and just make sure to have a friend or two.
Make a friend. Yep.
That's awesome. I even like that point that you made to have many plans, because sometimes people just have this one college or something on their mind and then things don't work out. No, apply to several colleges
Exactly.
and be open to a different plan. I'm not
Mhm.
Yep.
no spiritual.
Ms. Burnett told me that.
God closes doors on purpose. Yeah.
Mhm.
But anyway, Alex.
I think my advice would just to be, well, as a first gen student, just to not be discouraged. Like, you're gonna face challenges in whatever path you go, trade school, university, whether you want to take a gap year, then go any avenue you choose. Like there are gonna be obstacles that are unavoidable and that you're just gonna have to
Exactly. Push
face.
through.
So please don't be discouraged. Just get up and keep pushing.
Keep it pushing and one
Keep
good
it
thing that you're
pushing.
doing, Alex, which I appreciate, is that you are um, being active and reaching out when you need support, and that's important because
Yeah.
sometimes we don't advocate or we don't say we need this, and the reality is we paying a lot of money. We need to get everything we
Yeah.
need.
That's right.
So
Exactly.
I really appreciate y'all. I'm going to ask our viewers to send us questions, and I want to do something additional to this because we have not even like touched really the surface, but you know, people don't watch long videos, so we're gonna end it. But I really appreciate you guys.
Absolutely.
Of
I'm
course.
proud of you guys.
Thank you.
All
Yes,
right,
ma'am.
till next time. See y'all later.
Bye bye.